Hey, good morning, Bob, Trade Genius. It's the 6th of May. I hope you Mexican nationals, Cinco de Mayo adherents, enjoyed your day yesterday and are recovering nicely today. Beautiful day here in Southern California, and we've been working hard over here at Trade Genius. We hopefully sometime this week, maybe even Tuesday, we'll be launching our new integrated website and chat. And what's important for us is that and for those who use our service is that everything's now going to be integrated. So there'll be one place to go in. Those who have all the services are going to be able to flip back and forth across the chat rooms and be able to easily see the trade signals, either if they're crypto, binary, or stock ETFs. So we're pretty excited about it. It's been a long road. We started this process back in October, and we tried to get as much stuff off the shelf as we could, but we couldn't do everything. We had to write a lot of code, and we had to integrate it and make sure that it all works well. Our chats are going to be mobile apps too, so you're going to not have to be tied to a computer to integrate with our chat rooms either. So we're pretty stoked. But in addition to that, the reason why I have the Bitcoin chart up is we also created a service that people have been asking for a long time. Is that we've taken our short swing trader, which is a very high profit factor indicator for buying and selling, and I have it up here on the screen here. I'm showing it on the daily. Is that we went ahead and we created an alert system, called it Trade Genius Crypto Express. It'll push right out through email, and if you have mobile notifications on your phone, right to your phone 24/7. It's all algo driven, and so it'll just run whether we're awake or not, or we're at our desk or not. So it's definitely an enhancement to what we're doing now, and we have 45 trade setups. So we have on the hourly, 4-hourly, and daily are the signals time frame, and Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin are on all three of those time zones. And in addition to that, we have an additional 25 coins that are traded against the Bitcoin currency that we will signal for as well. So really complete. Our current clients pick the coins for us, and I think you'll like it a lot. And right now we're integrating it with the crypto trading room for those who either renew their service for an additional 12 months, or anybody who new that's coming on board. Just go to the May special #1 and you'll get it. And we're only going to do this for a short period of time. We're going to sell that option separately, and it's incredible value. We're essentially giving it away. I mean, the just 1 or 2 trades this last 4 days would already paid for it, paid for a year in your room. So take advantage of it. Trade Genius Express in the May special #1. And now looking at Bitcoin real quick, we almost made our assault to 10,000. And you see these blue and red arrows. Ever since we start the futures markets, I had a theory that I've been testing. There's not enough data points out there. It's kind of hard to use historical data sets because people use different time periods to determine whether a day starts, because it trades 24/7. And so I started doing my own data sets, and I had a theory that Wednesday night, Thursday, it would be the best time to add to a position. I drip into my cryptocurrencies, and I want to pick a day where I can automatically just pull it out of my account and into the crypto world. And my suspicion was Thursday would be the best day to do that, and so far I've been proven correct. And for those who are just crazy traders, before we put our signal together, then if Sunday morning, if you took that off the table, you'd just be grinding higher here. But I'm an add to guy. So again, look at this. The last 5 weeks, every Thursday was a great time to buy going into the weekend. and now we're closing in on this channel top, and I'm watching right here. Everybody's watching 10,000, but I'm actually watching this level here, because if we get up to this level, we formed another cup, and then, you know, or this could be the cup here, and this is the handle. Now we're breaking out of the cup, so we're in a really critical area. But if this goes, either one of these goes, you know, you're talking either 4,000 or 5,000, and you're back up here at 16 or 17,000. At this point in time, I see no reason why Bitcoin, and it'll drag a lot of the coins right with it, much higher. So emerging markets are in big trouble, and I'm going to flip over real quick, and the debt is just becoming amazing. In the dollar, you know, what we're doing with the dollar is, let me go over here first. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, let me just go into here, and so I can get into the right filter. Is the the dollar's strengthening, and we're raising interest rates, and we're selling off bonds, and there's a lot of debt out there that's denominated in dollars, and these people are in big trouble. And you know, I always laugh when people talk about the dollar's going to crash and China's going to take over the world. They just fundamentally just do not understand economics or the money system. Is the dollar is the reserve currency, and all the other currencies are going to suffer catastrophic issues before it's going to take out the dollar. And what's going to take out the dollar is not going to be the yuan. It's going to be cryptocurrencies, or it's going to be precious metals. Everything else is a counterparty risk. So just get that out of your head. The people who talk about this stuff are just either they're America haters, or central bank haters, or China or Russia lovers. You know, not going to happen. So dollar is going to strengthen ridiculously. It's going to cause a lot of issues, and the one of them right now, the emerging market bonds are getting crushed, and then the emerging market index 2 is one to watch, and that's EEM, and it's just been in a glide path. Looks very similar to the way SPY's going here, but look at this. So we're getting ready for another sell signal on emerging markets right here. So one of the things that you might want to think about, it's not been over the VWAP. This is just on an hourly chart for over a month. It came up, tested it, and fell back away again. And looks like this area right here is 3% below the moving VWAP. That seems to be holding it. When it gets down here, it looks like a bounce area, but it's already expended a lot of its money flow energy, and it's still below the VWAP line. If this goes as it goes, it's going to keep putting pressure on the U.S. stock market. And one thing that just blew me away here is that, look, the dollar's strengthening, but the miners are, especially AG, it's just doing fine. Look at this. Look at the moving weighted average price in for the volume as the price has been going on here. Look, if you just bought every time this thing got 3 to 5% below VWAP, you're having a good living, okay? And we just got turned up again on Friday. The market did this Friday ramp job for whatever, Warren Buffett, Apple. It's just an ambush, Friday ambush, and they trended it higher for the weekend. You know, actually went nowhere for 3 weeks, SPY. But be that as it may, it ramped it. But look, the miners didn't sell off. So just bear that in mind. And silver, at some point, silver is going to blow sky high too. They've been absolutely capping it, and JP Morgan's building a huge position in it. So at some point, it's going to just go. And when it goes, these miners are going to rock. These miners are ignoring what's happening here. So, and the other thing too to bear in mind is, you know, with blockchain, at some point these miners are just going to band together and say, we're just not going to put our silver through to CME anymore. We're going to use a blockchain, you can't sell your position unless you own physical, and then you're going to see silver go from $15 to $50 in a week. That's why you have to have a position. It's so artificially, it's been like somebody has been holding a beach ball 10 feet down in the pool, and the level of energy required to keep it there is going to just become overwhelming, and it's just going to rip. So I just implore anybody who will listen is you have to have some silver, you have to have some silver miners, you have to have some cryptocurrencies in your portfolio somewhere, even if you don't trade it, because these things are being capped, but the level of energy required to maintain the cap, especially with interest rates rising, is going to become too much for it. So just FYI. We also own Hecla. Okay, and that's been grinding higher too. And if you just want to just grab a silver miner position, keep an eye on SILJ. Okay, and when the miners start to move, this is a junior fund, this thing will rocket. And so just put that on your watch list. And then looking at the miners here, his GDX is about ready to break through VWAP 2. And so we just have to keep an eye on it, but it looks like it's ready for another move higher. And GDXJ has already broken through. Now we just have to see whether it's going to come back down and test the VWAP for the next move higher. And so so that's it on the miner side. Yeah, oil's just been amazing, crazy. I think a lot of people are using oil as a collateral hedge, and it's going into its slow season. I have USO puts, but I've been trading it as a diagonal. So if it was a directional bet, I've already would have lost half my money on the trade. But since I've sold puts twice against it, my loss is minimal at this point. And my view is that oil is going to come back down again too. Totally being used as a collateral here against other risks, but there's too much oil for the demand right now, and I think you're going to see this thing come back down here pretty quickly. And I just want to go out and just look at some of the major ETFs here real quick. So, and it's interesting to see the volume on here we go. Start with the highest one here, back out to maximize, and then I'm just going to flip through the top 10 of these right now. While this waits, you guys have been watching the Kilauea thing. It's been absolutely insane, and my heart goes out for those folks. But in 1955 they had the same thing happen in that location. Obviously a lot less people lived out there before, but there was a town out there that a fissure broke out, and within, like, I don't know, 2 months created like a 300-foot mountain of basically a cinder cone, and pretty much wiped out part of that town. And the level of activity there now with those earthquakes, I think we're going to see a big move there, and I think it's going to be something of a surprise is going to happen. That whole part of Puna might be in big trouble. Pretty sad. So here, looking at SPY on the hourly, is they expended a lot of energy in 2 days to push this thing up on really pretty neutral news. And if you look, we've gone nowhere. We've literally gone nowhere in a month. Okay, and we're still tightening. The Treasury has $360 billion in cash. I guarantee you they're in there trying to manipulate this move down and fighting the Federal Reserve. And the issue here now is that there's a dollar scramble on, and I think it's going to cause more and more issues with the markets. And so I think the pressure is going to be on. This is the downtrend line from January This is the downtrend line from April. It went in there and came back down. If it falls back in and falls below VWAP, we're coming back down again. If it holds it, then this comes back into play. So just something to keep an eye on. But I just have a really hard time thinking we're going to break this and go on to new highs with the liquidity working against the markets. We talked EM. That's not bullish. Okay, TVIX looks like it's ready for another pop higher. The Qs are already getting to a point where they're getting pretty overbought. And see, this is the game that they play. You know, the whole market's not moving higher. They just take the top 5 or 10 stocks by capitalization and they just shove money into it and drive everything up with it. And that's why the Qs are popping. And you know, and this whole thing was this is Warren Buffett right here. Seriously, the guy bought 3 months ago, but because the news came out today, the algos drove it higher. This company is worth almost $1 trillion, and there's just simply no way they're ever going to generate that kind of cash to justify it. You know, I did M&A work, and the requirements I had to be able to purchase a company and the price I paid for it was how much cash is it going to generate for me over a certain period of time. And I tried to do the math on Apple on this, and you know, it's just absurd. And so people are way overpaying for cash, and you're just absolutely crazy, you know. And I know this is all passive fund driven. You know, most people don't even know what Apple's worth. They just have money sitting in an ETF that their financial advisor has put them in, and they just keep riding it. And these algos and these bankers know how this works, and they just keep manipulating the indexes. But when this turns, that's when people talk about crashes. When this turns, it's going to be awful. See, the financials are really struggling here. And that should tell you, you know, a lot. Emerging markets in trouble, financials are in trouble. This is what happened in 2008. This happened in 1998. Financials, emerging markets, and you had commodities moving higher into it all. And I'll put up a food thing too. Food starts to move, it just locks the hands of central bankers. They can't dilute and monetize into a food price spike because most people have to import food. And it's just a disaster. And that's what happened every 7 years. You know, we had it in 11, we had it in 08, we had it in 2001, we had it in 1994, we had it in 1987, we had it in 1981. These are all food price spikes. And you know, they don't talk about these things, but central banks see that. In 2011, when we had the huge issue with the price of food in the Middle East, that's where you had the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring came because, you know, the dollar was moving higher. At the same time, food prices were moving higher, and it caused a disaster in that part of the world. Well, food prices are moving up again, so keep an eye on it. Okay, we talked VIX already, and we talked GDX, and then here's China, same way. China's in big trouble too. I've been reading article after article after article that there's going to be a banking crisis there. And I just go round and around with people. People think China's the next all it. I'm dumbfounded. You know, since when do communist dictatorial countries, you know, going to take over the world? You know, everybody flows to the bias of the one dude in charge, okay? And they basically printed their way into this so-called prosperity to the extent that even makes the Americans blush. But it's all locked inside their country, so it's not apparent to us. But it's apparent to them inside, and they got to import oil, and they got to import food. And so trouble's coming for them. I don't care what anybody says, China is one famine away from going back into Stone Age. And it's going to get really interesting when food gets scarce around the world. Then you're going to really see tensions, not the steel tariff stuff. Especially if America has a surplus, then Katie bar the door. But anyway, I rambled on. It's just some fun stuff going on right now. But I'm still leaning bearish and just trying to fight through these bullish impulses and look for the next leg down. But keep an eye on emerging markets. I think that's probably the easiest place to go short at this point. And keep your eye on silver and get a position there. Definitely be involved in cryptos. And definitely come check us out and see if we can help you make money nearly every day in the markets. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.